communication with Southern California, KHJ-TV Public Affairs presents Teen Talk. In 1981, there were 10 million arrests for crimes reported by the FBI. 20% of these arrests were for youths under the age of 18. Teenagers involved in crime come from every racial, religious, and economic group in the United States, and crime knows neither sex, age, or ethnic group.
What famous president said, "The greatest problem the U.S. faces is the increasing disregard for the law that pervades our country"? If you thought it was Ronald Reagan or Jimmy Carter, you'd be wrong. It was Abraham Lincoln. Some things never change. We seem to be a crime-plagued culture. The attendant fear and pain it has caused are sufficiently upsetting to all of us. I'm Joseph Feinstein, and today on Teen Talk, we're featuring a panel of young people who have been involved in crime in one way or another. Welcome, panel. Welcome to Teen Talk. Tell us about your involvement with crime. How did you get involved in this whole area of your life anyway? Yeah, Daniel?
Well, Joseph, I was first introduced with crime by a friend. There was some big building that they made soap, and where I live, a lot of people like soap because we came from a very poor family, so that was pretty important where I came from. So we broke into the factory, and I was pushed through the window because I was small. And I didn't get caught, so I figured the next time I do it, it would be easier because they counted on me for doing something, so I felt very important because I was useful to someone. And so I figured every time they came, I felt like I could walk out the house knowing that I was something when I wasn't nothing. And so the next time it was introduced, we used to go to a bike factory, and a lot of things. I always wanted a bike, but my mom could never give me one because we were very poor. And so the bike factory was just 5 miles away from where I lived, and so a couple of friends would always call me because I could be the one that...
Friends in quotation marks, I might add. These are your friends, your buddies, yeah?
Yeah, friends that I thought were my friends and stuff. So, you know, we went and we would take bike parks. And so as times went on, you know, I remember getting first arrested, you know, and I got out one time without no problems. You know, they just released me to my mother and stuff.
Okay, let's kind of find out some of the other people here too. Ian, how did you get this started with all this stuff?
Well, I first got started in crime. I started in crime on Coach because I had a lot of aggression inside because my family wasn't working, and I just really felt trapped, and I had to get all this aggression out by doing something, and I did crimes to impress other people, my friends.
Yeah. You could really be impressing them with your ability to get away with things, do things, run in, get something, take it, and get out.
And also get drugs for those certain things, and that way I'd attract more friends, and that would make me feel more comfortable. That's really what my environment was about, people impressing other people just to get some more.
The peer approval is incredible. The peer approval of what it means is incredible. Curtis, you were in gangs?
Yes, I was. I was affiliated with gangs. I had just moved into a new environment, and in this community that I moved in, gang activity existed very heavily. And in my search to find friends, somebody who's comfort and relate to at school, I found gang members. I didn't look for them, but it was like they were there. And in this, we found a certain unity, and there's violent things that come with, there's negative things that come with having gang members as friends and stuff like that. You become part of a gang.
They're always looking for another person to support and their underpinnings. They need you there. They need you. And boy, that must be a great feeling to be needed by somebody. Needed by somebody, Janess?
I got into it because of my friends, which is peer pressure, and I felt like I was needed. And my best friend was in it, and that's how I got into it. And I'm glad I'm out. But, you know, you do feel like you're needed, because you can get away with more things.
Always, always. Oh yeah, I can just imagine. Brian, how did it start for you?
Well, it was basically, you know how some people are born into wealth? Well, I was kind of born into crime and drugs. My family, my uncles, You know, when I was young, used to blow pot smoke into my face, and I just kind of grew up with that kind of thing. And later on, I started hanging out with friends who smoked pot, did crimes, and you end up doing the same things there are. It's a big influence with your friends, you know.
Have any of you been arrested? Have any of you been arrested or custody? You have. What happened to you, Daniel?
Well, when I was arrested, you know, they just take you in and hold you in custody and call your mother, and they look up in your record to see if you've been arrested before, so that if you have, they can look into more to see what you do, so that they can take you to juvenile hall because of that crime. But see, the first time I was arrested, that didn't happen, so they just called my mother.
What do you feel like? What's going on inside your head when you're taken into custody?
When I first got arrested, I still remember, because it was the most frightening thing to me. I felt like my life was just taken away from me. And I felt in a way too that, you know, if I would have known better, it's like you think if I would have known that I probably wouldn't have done this, but you don't know, so I just keep on doing it anyway. I just still do it, even if I did get arrested and know, and they said don't do that. You know, it's like, I don't need you telling me. I need like my mother telling me, or someone related to me telling me. So it's like, until I can get that discipline from my family or from my mother, or I know someone that really cares about me, maybe I'll sit down and think about it, but I don't want someone putting handcuffs on me telling me I shouldn't do that.
The cost of crime runs more than $300 billion each year, more than the nation spends on education, health care, or the military. There are 1/2 million people in federal and state prisons, with thousands more in city and county jails. What do you think are the most common reasons that lead people to a life of crime? Darnell?
Oh, I think it's like growing up in a house with the parents don't take enough time with their children. You know, they just let them go out and play and do it, and by meeting friends, you're going up, running up and down the street, you're gonna meet all kinds of people, you know. And then the parents don't come in and, you know, talk to the children and tell them what's going on, instead of just, they have a relationship, instead of being friends with their children, they have a relationship as where I'm authority over you and you obey me, you know.
Yes.
Like that kind of a, you know,
That doesn't
situation.
work too well.
And that don't work. If you had a friendship, you know, kind of relationship where you can talk to them and say, look here, this is going on right here, and you should be, you know, you should stay away from this right here, you know, and just talk to them in a, you know, a sensible, not an
With a certain
authoritative
kind
voice.
of firmness and a certain kind of caring and love. Everybody responds to love in a certain kind of way. What do you think?
That is correct. I mean, I established this, my mother established the same type of relationship with me, raising me as an individual. I was able to make decisions as to what I wanted to do. When I saw the drugs, I saw the gang violence, it was easier to make my decision by her not being as authoritative, you know.
Well, then why'd you go for the gang? What was there about the gang that was causing you to say, okay?
Well, like I said in the beginning, it was just somebody who was there. My mother was my best friend, but she couldn't come to school with me and talk to me and protect me from the other gangs that were out there.
Well, sometimes you take that, you know, your mother and your father and some of these people are like Jiminy Crickets. They're in your conscience, and you know that you're not supposed to do this, and you know that you're not going to. I can imagine. I'm wondering what it must be like for you to have that, you know, the pot smoked in your, you know, in your face, and how you're looking at all these people. What does it do to you? What kind of an effect did your family have for you?
It was, I longed for that. It was the attention that I got, and that was the only attention that I knew, and I thought that was completely natural.
Really?
Yeah.
Ian, how about you? What was going on with your mom, your dad, those people?
Well, I had a different situation. My mom, I felt when I was young, was too caring. She told me, well, you can't go here and you can't go there and you can't do this because that's wrong. That made me more eager to do those things. So I feel that was a different impression on me. I felt, well, I want to get out and do this because I want to see how it is. I'm sure everybody has those kind of feelings.
Parenting is so rough.
Yeah.
The difference between mothering and smothering is such a fine line, and to know how much rope to give each child and allow each child their latitude and the ability to move on is so often a difficult responsibility. Let me change the focus just a little bit here. You guys were involved with crime. You took things that didn't belong to you. You were involved in making other people miserable by what you stole from them or took from them. Did any part of this ever come into your conscience? Did any part of you had taken those things, Daniel? Did your conscience ever bother you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, they did bother me, but I'm gonna tell you, I always felt, why could they have them and not me? And I rather have that conscience and rather have that item that I wanted. And usually, if I want something, it's like, I don't care how I get it. I just get it, and then it satisfies my need, and I'm happy for that day. And after a while, you start thinking about how that other person feels because you see them crying, and I worked really hard, and we're all poor in that neighborhood, and you actually see their mother working like really hard, try to get that, and then you go and steal it, and knowing that it is you that took it, and and you're really close friends with that person, and you start feeling bad, and it's like it happened.
Did you ever question yourself? Did you ever kind of thrash yourself and say, I mustn't do this? I'm not supposed to do this?
No, I always felt like if I start questioning myself and start realizing what I'm doing, then I will become nothing in life. That I will lose everything I know how to do because that's the only way I knew how to do it. And I cannot stop now trying to put food in my stomach and worried about how I'm going to feel about someone else.
That is, I so appreciate the honesty of what you're saying. I mean, I really hear you. It's kind of like mean, but it's like, this is where I'm at, Joe, and this is the reason I'm doing this. And I really appreciate what you just said. How about for you, Ian? Are you conscious of when you were taking things that didn't belong to you?
Oh yes, I really feel bad about that sometimes because I had stole from a friend before with another friend, and that friend that I was with had stole something. Like, I'll say I was in the other room when this had happened, and he had taken something and he didn't tell me about it, you know. And then that guilt came on me. I was really mad at him, but then all the guilt came on me about my stealing from my friend. I didn't feel very good about that.
Well,
that was
really?
a bad feeling.
Yeah, Darnell, any thoughts about this?
Well, it's when you steal something, it automatically registers in your head that this is wrong. Just like if I would take you, I see you, you have a nice piece of jewelry on your wrist, and I would take that from you,
You'll have to take the wrist.
But even still, it'll still register you. Like your mother tells you something, say, stealing is wrong, and I go out and steal something. My mother going to pop in my head automatically, that this is wrong. I know it's wrong. But if it's something that I want or something that I need, I'm going to go after it, I'm going to do it.
Some of you are among the lucky ones to have the Wings Foundation in your corner. Could you please tell the viewers a little bit about who the Wings Foundation is? Brian?
Yeah, the Wings Foundation, well, the word foundation I really don't like. I like the word Wings family because the people there are caring. You know, it's like a whole family. They even set you up with a Wings family. And to start with, they come into the juvenile facilities and they really bring the message of the Lord. And they teach on that subject. And, you know, they have a program where they really show you what life is about, a new whole way of living. You know, sailing, skiing, just, you know, real solid life that in drugs and crime and everything else that you would never experience.
Wow. And you were part of it too, Ian?
Oh yes, I'm happy to say that I am a part of the Wings Foundation, and they're a very caring group of people. They really express their feelings toward us, and they really love us as daughters and sons, and they really treat us with respect.
Well, let me ask you this. How are they different from your own family?
Well, they are very different from my own family because my own family was involved with drugs, alcohol, and this family is more to reality. You know, they don't deal with drugs or nothing, and they really respect me, and I respect them as a real parent. And they're really teaching me how parents really are. You know, they really just show you the line. They set you on a solid line. That's the way that life is supposed to be.
Yeah, I've met Lee Stanley, the head of the foundation, several times. He's a wonderful man. He's got a wonderful attitude about living and about life. I love the fact that you guys are out into the open air a lot, that you're feeling this kind of closeness with one another, that you're interdependent, and that you feel a sense of need and love and care by each other. Janess, what was happening in your family when you were getting involved in your life of crime?
Well, my family didn't really like it because, well, I live with my mother.
Yeah.
And she's the only one I live with right now. And she didn't like it, and she was trying to tell me, you know, steer away from it. But she told me so much that I basically rebelled.
And how did you rebel?
I stopped listening to her. I got more into the parties and with the so-called in crowd.
You know as well as I, teenage life, adolescence is a time of rebellion. It's a time of not listening to parents. It's a kind of putting thumbs up and saying, no way do I have to listen to you, and I'm going to do my things in my own way, so there. But why did you choose crime for and the gangs instead of a bunch of kids, let's say, that were, you know, going to the Galleria each Thursday or Saturday?
Well, it was basically because of peer pressure. My friends were all into it, and a lot of people were pushing me towards it. And it was like a way to escape from the world. And I learned soon that it wasn't really an escape. The problems caused, you know, there was even more problems after that.
Tell me.
Well, not only did I have the drawbacks from trying, you know, from my mother, but I had the drawbacks from school because I flunked a couple of years, and it really messed my life up.
How do you leave a life of crime and get yourself an agent, and now you have your own television program, and you're doing things in a totally different way? How do you go from the gangs to a whole different kind of lifestyle, Curtis?
First of all, you have to have a transition.
Yeah.
You know, you have to see like an alternative to doing what you're doing. What it is when you're out there in the game, there's a certain amount of energy that you're using. If you find another way to channel that energy in a positive light, whereas that you can advance, then that's where you're going to get you're going to reap plenty of benefits from that.
I love it. I love what you're saying. You're right. You got to channel energy into a new place.
Correct.
And your place is along
That's
with the ships and God and a whole bunch of people, things that way.
Yes.
And your energy now is in...
Back then, was Crossroads Arts Academy, a theater that Marla Gibbs established in the community and stuff like that. It was a place to go and learn about the theater
and show off.
That's correct.
You are a show-off, Curtis. I know it the minute I saw you, you're a show-off. But it's nice that you have a nice outlet channel to show off in a positive way.
Yeah.
How are you guys going to be different mommy and daddies than the mommy and daddies that you had? How are you going to be a different daddy?
Well, I think that I'll be a different, because I will be more or less of a friend than more or less of a, I'm your daddy, I'm going to, you know, show you what to do and all that. I'll be more as, you can come to me when you have a problem and discuss it, and we can discuss it just as you can discuss it with your friend, you know? Because the children tend to go to their friends more. Like if you did something wrong, you don't want to run home and then tell your mother, you know, because you're going to scared that you're going to get a whooping or something
Brian,
like
what are you
that.
going to do differently than blow smoke into your kid's face?
I really don't know what I'm going to do different. It's, I know that I'm going to learn from my experiences, from what I was brought up with, and in any way possible, I will avoid that. You know, I'll just bring the loving and caring that I never had. You know, I'll express that with my children.
Susan Dinitz, a foremost criminologist, has looked at teen crime for many years and suggests the following. 1. Train teenagers to get decent, practical jobs. They need to know about the world of work. 2. Encourage teens to obtain adequate counseling. When a kid has a problem, help him by getting him some counseling. 3. Try to eliminate functional illiteracy. It always counts against a kid's success. 4. Create new youth conservation corps with pay and enhanced self-esteem as the incentive. That's almost self-evident. And 5. Encourage neighbors to band together in crime prevention. Panel, you have been terrific at pointing up some of the problems and some of the difficulties that go along with crime. That whole need of peer approval and the whole need to get your own self-esteem established, especially at a time when you're young and impressionable and you need that stuff. For Teen Talk, this is Joseph Feinstein saying we'll see you very